Hello, my name is August Paul Johnson. Today is December 8th, 2020. This is my third speech for my public speaking class. Today I will be argumenting that the US needs to practice herd immunity instead of quarantining. So, as much as I'd like to have my speech on my personal beliefs about COVID-19 rampaging throughout the US and how the media portrays it terribly and how people who follow the media are just sheep, today I'm actually only here to present you with the speculation, the facts, and the course of action. The coronavirus disease, or in today's society, COVID-19, is an infectious disease caused by a newly discovered coronavirus. The clinical representation of coronaviruses are that it causes acute, mild upper respiratory infection. The common cold is known as a coronavirus. They are classified by the crown or halo-like appearance of the envelope glycoproteins around its spherical shape. Everyone's seen the picture of COVID-19. The glycoproteins are the little spores that stick out of the sphere. So, as COVID has been traveling throughout the country, influencing governors and legislation to enforce quarantining, donning masks, and social distancing, there's actually one positive aspect of this. Reports of child abuse and neglect have dropped significantly. States such as Washington, Illinois, Colorado, Missouri, New York, and others have seen these drops in child abuse. But I unfortunately tricked you. That is not a good indicator. According to experts, this decline is due to the educators, who are mandatory reporters, not interacting with students on a daily basis. The teachers do not have the ability to see their students in person, see if they have any abuse or neglect, and report that. All school is online, basically, for middle school, high school, elementary. And students can now turn off their webcams. They don't have to show their face. They don't even have to come to class. In reality, quarantining is enabling child abuse to go unreported. Another negative effect of quarantining is actually shown by the CDC. A recent study from the CDC has shown that adults have had a 30% increase in anxiety and depression, a 26% increase in stressor-related disorders, a 13% increase in substance used to cope, and a 10% increase in adults who have considered suicide in the past 30 days. A fourth of that 10% are adults aged 18 to 24 years old. Public health scientists and epidemiologists around the world link quarantining to lowered childhood vaccination rates, worsening cardiovascular disease outcomes, fewer cancer screenings, and deteriorating mental health, which leads for more deaths in the future and making it so that the younger people have to carry a much heavier burden. I'm here to explain that there is no need to have an increase in all these negative things impacting society. Quarantining is not helping. The solution is herd immunity. So herd immunity, according to the Center of Disease Control and Prevention, or the CDC, defines it as herd immunity is a situation in which sufficient proportions of a population are immune to an infectious disease, making its spread from person to person unlikely. In an easier sense, herd immunity is when enough healthy people become immune by contracting the disease so that the weaker people do not have to build the immunity because it is less likely to spread. Dr. Gregory Poland at the Mayo Clinic says that the U.S.'s novel coronavirus is going to fall into the neighborhood of 70% of the population getting it in order for the U.S. to have herd immunity. Now, the main argument against herd immunity is that many people will die and older people are at risk. Now, to those people who argue that way, there actually isn't only one way of doing herd immunity. And not everyone has to come in contact with COVID for the U.S. to build this herd immunity. That is a false reality in which people believe. So, the Great Barrington Declaration is a declaration created by 3 professors. Those professors are Dr. Martin Kulldorff, a professor of medicine at Harvard University, Dr. Sunetra Gupta, who's a professor at Oxford University, and Dr. J. Bhattacharya. I said that wrong. Dr. J. Bhattacharya, who's a professor at Stanford University. The Great Barrington Declaration was created to shed light on the path that the U.S. and the world can take. That path protects the people who are at high risk while allowing young adults and kids to continue on with their normal life. This is a way of getting herd immunity so that we don't compromise the vulnerable and the sick while we continue on having society for the younger people and the people who need it. So here's a bit more in depth on the Great Barrington Declaration. The Declaration recommends that the vulnerable should be the central aim of the health response. People who have a built-up immune response should be the caregivers and staff to quarantined and vulnerable peoples. The people who are not vulnerable should be able to resume daily life, such as going to work, school, going out with friends. Simple measures such as hand washing and staying home when sick should be practiced like normal. The main idea of herd immunity is that people should be able to choose if they want to participate in society or if they want to protect themselves. It's about choice. The negatives of quarantining are much too great to not have herd immunity go into effect. Thank you.